Hello everyone, welcome to this reading. So your grandmother, or perhaps for some of you it could be a great-grandmother, great-great, or even further back down the line. For some of you it may even be your grandmother who is still with you, is wanting to reach out to you through this reading in order to facilitate some healing. Healing is not limited to any one place or time, and today your grandmother is reaching out in the spirit of love and understanding in order to work with you towards greater healing for yourself, for herself, and for the family line. We're going to be getting a few questions that she's going to answer for us today. We're going to find out what she wants you to know. What she knows to be true about you, what she knows to be true about your family line, what you, the viewer, inherited from her, for good or bad, and what she wants you to understand about herself that maybe she feels you don't understand about her. She's also going to be addressing her reason for reaching out to you. We talked about healing, but we'll get into it more specifically. And then finally, she will ask you to forgive her for something, and she will express forgiveness to you for something. And of course, she wants to say, I love you. Sincerely, your abuela, your nana, granny, nona, mimi, babushka, mama, grandmother, or whatever you knew her by. She's here with you today in this reading. If you want to stick around in the introduction, I'm going to read from this book about healing ancestral patterns. It's a really nice piece that could pertain to all of you watching. And whenever you're ready, we have 3 choices here. Now, when I was choosing these are from the Golden Girls Tarot deck. I just said I'm going to shuffle, and whatever the first 4 major arcana cards are, those are the ones I'm going to choose. So one of you has a very saucy grandmother because she came through with the Devil card. We also have the Strength card, the Death card, and the Emperor, which is also a little bit surprising to come through in a grandmother reading, but maybe we'll figure out more why those are the particular cards that came up. In the meantime, let me read this passage here. This is from the Archangel Metatron Self-Mastery Oracle, and as I was going to do some, I've been thinking about this grandmother reading for a while, and when I drew this card today, I was like, okay, it's time to just go ahead and sit down and record it. I pulled this card for my own personal journaling today, and it says Ancestors, Appreciation, and Healing. So let me read to you here. Our ancestors live on through us and within us. Now is a time to remember where you have come from and what you may have inherited via your DNA. I'll let you go ahead and look at the choices while you're listening to me. Genetic memories, patterns, behaviors, always remembering that our ancestors did the best they could with what they knew at the time and the circumstances in which they lived their lives. Those on the other side of the veil often stand with us, waiting for forgiveness, acknowledgement, and freedom from pain that they were not able to clear while alive. Freeing them frees us. Healing is not limited to any one time, place, and event. Its effects are far-reaching and cross many realms of existence. Archangel Metatron, who has been in existence since this earth was created, has seen everything that has happened to you and your family, including members you never met, going back generation after generation. Repetitive issues or circumstances seem to play out again and again in families. Poverty, alcoholism, infidelity, broken marriages, failed businesses. We have to heal the ancestors too. And with Metatron's help, you can do this by taking that healing back through the family line and then forward to future generations where DNA has been cleaned and the memories of past challenges replaced by optimistic strands to be planted in new fertile lives. Think about what needs healing in your family line today and bring this to the light for clearing. The image on this card also asks us to acknowledge all the beauty of our ancestral line. You are the product of all of them, a survivor who has their strengths and talents and gifts. Maybe some of these were unexpressed in their lifetime, but you can do it for them now, and they will always encourage you on. Like the nurse in the 1920s who had no modern medicine to prevent many from dying, but her grandchild in the present is equipped to heal mind, body, and soul. Or great-grandparents who painted and were creative carried that to the young child who now displays enormous gifts, and everyone wonders where it came from. There is so much ability and help, unseen most of the time, from the past and from the future. Take a moment to look at this image and see yourself as part of something much bigger than you can ever imagine. Try to focus this while I finish up the reading. These souls are part of your soul group, always there and present if called. Realize, too, that the ancient figure at the back of the long line may be the new child now cradled in the Father's arms. The flow of love between the generations is constantly rebirthing itself and remembering what it is to be human. You are able to call on your ancestors at this time to help you. They will cheer you on from afar. So what a beautiful message. All right, for those of you who stuck around, thank you. I definitely feel that it was worth it. I thought that was a beautiful message. And all right, so we have these 4 options here, and you can just use the timestamps below to figure out which reading is yours. I think I'm going to list them just by the name of the card. So the Devil, Strength, Death, and the Emperor. All right, and whenever you've chosen, I will see you at your reading. All right, welcome to you, everyone who chose the first reading, which was represented here by the Devil card. So first we're going to be your grandmother's going to be saying what she knows to be true about you, the viewer. So what does the grandmother know to be true about you? We have unfulfilled, the Sun, and the Chariot. So basically she knows that you currently do not feel fulfilled in your life, that you know that there is a much greater potential, and she's either seeing that you are making efforts towards moving towards that greater potential, or she's saying that, you know, you have it in you to do that, and she would like you to do that now. Let's see what else she'd have to say here. So she feels that you are dissatisfied, or you feel like you're not totally aligned with your life purpose. She knows that there is a very strong life purpose, though, and she sees, if you're not already, that you will align with that. Yeah, she thinks that you are either already moving on from this feeling of unfulfilled, or perhaps you've already moved on and she's so proud of you, or she's sending you her love and support that you will move on from a period of not being aligned with your purpose, and that you will, in fact, align with your purpose. And she feels that you're going to make such a tremendous start to this. You have such power within you. You know, continue to harness that power within you. That is your vital life force. You know, be in touch with your life force, and she sees you really going places in the world. And she feels that you will be someone who achieves quite a bit in your life. There may be people along the way, because this is the Seven of Wands. The Seven of Wands is about, you know, maintaining a certain position in life, but then having to sort of defend that position. So you are going to be quite powerful, or you perhaps you've already stepped into that, and you're going to continue to step into it more fully. And there will be people along the way that try to kind of pull you down off of that position that you've gained for yourself. And she just feels that you will find peace and serenity at the top of this mountain that you achieve, of this achievement. You'll be able to find peace regardless of any sort of intentions that anyone has to bring you down off of this achievement that you are creating. You'll find inner peace. She feels that there's no reason to be scared of that. Of course, people will always be frightened of someone, especially a woman, right, who has fulfilled her full potential. This is intimidating. People are intimidated, and they will be. But you're going to be able to find this sort of inner peace regardless, because it's like you're connected to your light. You are your own source of light. You know what your guidance is, and you are knowing the right direction for yourself. So she's saying congratulations on that. Congratulations on pursuing what is your path. All right. So next, she's going to tell you what she knows to be true about your family line. Oh, we have the Six of Cups, Eight of Cups coming up again, and the Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, she's saying this is sort of a recurring pattern in the family line of, it's happened many times before throughout, the generations of your family, where people have known, they have felt also this calling of their soul, because in many past lifetimes, many people in your family have also had to walk away from unfulfillment and to seek to become more established. Sometimes people succeeded in that journey, sometimes they didn't, but it's something that's in the soul, this sort of shared soul of the family line. The Six of Cups is related to Sun and Scorpio, and we had the Sun card coming out before as well. So this is a deep-seated experience. There, you are not the only one who has done this. You may not know about previous ancestors who have overcome in the way that you have, but they have, and you have their strength as well, in order to fulfill some great purpose in the world, which again, it's going to bring you some sort of status, I feel like. It is taking you to a place of status and achievement. So yeah, I feel that you probably don't know about these ancestors, though. This could be something that goes so far back that you may not have even heard of these people. But of course, your grandmother speaking from her higher self or from the other side, she's aware of it. And she knows that there is a power source that is within you that is also just simply from your DNA. Simply, it's in the DNA that's been passed down to you. It's very interesting. So what did you inherit? What did you inherit from your grandmother, for good or bad? And what does she want you to understand about herself? What did you inherit? Death. You are a transformational person. You're someone who is not afraid to reinvent yourself. Lots of Scorpio coming through again. That Six of Cups is the Sun and Scorpio card. The Death card is related to Scorpio and or Pluto, which is the ruler of Scorpio. I can never remember which, but anyway, it's the same kind of energy. Death and rebirth, death and regeneration. You understand that even painful experiences bring about much needed transformations. It's like you're not afraid. You and your grandmother both are not afraid of the dark night of the soul. It's not an enjoyable experience, but I think you're people who see the worth in like going through those types of experiences. Walking across the proverbial hot coals, walking through some circles of hell in order to achieve a greater enlightenment and to sort of refine yourselves, and always be evolving and becoming the best version of yourself. So she feels that this is something that the two of you share. You share this quality. And what does she want you to understand about her that maybe you don't? The Moon. She was also psychic. As the first thing I'm getting. You may not have known that. So if, maybe if y'all have some psychic inclinations, you may not have realized that she also had strong psychic abilities, perhaps especially through her dreams. For some of you, I'm seeing, and I've never noticed this on this card, there's all this, there's an actual, natal chart, an astrological chart in the background of this. I don't know if it picks up on the camera even. As many times as I've used this, I've never noticed it. Some of you had grandmothers who were interested in astrology, had an understanding of astrology. Some of them had mediumship abilities and could speak to the dead. Some sort of psychic or supernatural gift, maybe being able to see and understand omens, signs and symbols that were presented to them. But yeah, your grandmother, maybe she didn't talk about it, or you just don't know the full depth of it, but something along these lines you shared with her. And let me see. She feels a deep bond with you, for sure. Yeah, she wants you to, I think she may have held back a little bit on pursuing these abilities. She sees you being more interested in pursuing them, and she's encouraging that. She feels so proud of you. She may have even, maybe she felt like she would not be accepted for this, or that people wouldn't understand, or she just was maybe afraid of the experiences that she had. Chariot coming up again, which is also Cancerian moon energy. Yeah, she sees you taking a different choice than she did. She could have chosen to develop these gifts more, or to talk more about them, or be more open about them. And for whatever reason, maybe she was living in a time and place when this wasn't accepted. Or like I said, she just was scared of the gifts that she had, but she sees you taking a different choice. I feel that she is so proud of you for that. All right, let's see here. Okay, and now we're going to be asking, why is she reaching out to you? So we have attraction and experiments. I did kind of turn over some of these because I'm using a lot of different decks. I did turn over a couple of these. I was just curious, which cards were going to come up. You attract romantic love by enjoying this moment fully, and then experiments, manipulation of nature, forcing change, cruelty in the pursuit of knowledge, arrogance. I kind of feel like, especially with the Devil card, the feeling that I get with this is, I think there's something, it's like some reoccurring situation in the family line of maybe being attracted to people romantically who are really not the best for you, or even experimenting with certain situations romantically that are very base or very low vibrational. I hope that makes sense. Getting involved in romantic situations that are really not for your best interest. It even could be, wanting to be with someone just because it looks good, like being attracted to someone because, well, that person's good looking, or they have status or something. And it might be something that reoccurs, and it causes negative repercussions. But she also feels that, again, this is something that's being healed. You're healing this. You're able to tame these impulses, the desire to attach yourself to romantic partners or situations that are really not good for you. And you are becoming much healthier, or you have become much healthier. And again, this may be something that other people in your family line have also learned to overcome. They've also made bad choices and had to eventually get to the point of making better choices. Maybe some of them never did make the better choice. But you are, and the more people in the family line that can do that, rather than just accepting, whatever comes along because it seems to fulfill the ego's desires rather than what the soul really wants out of a love experience, that helps also to show the coming generations a new way of being involved in romantic love. Yeah, it gives so much more clarity because, of course, what children see you doing is what they're going to be doing. And not always, but like it does set an example to them. So it's just, she's saying you're being very mindful of the example that you're setting when it comes to your choices in your romantic life. And your grandmother is very proud of you for that. Okay, so the next question is, why is your grandmother reaching out to you right now? Spraying some clary sage spray. Okay, why is she reaching out to you? The Magician. Oh my gosh, the Magician and the Ten of Wands. Like, she just feels that you are so powerful and so promising. You have so much potential. You know, she knows that there's like a lot of weight on your shoulders. And she sees you like just, you know, doing so well regardless. You're succeeding regardless of the burdens that you experience. So she really just, the strongest message she has for you is, I'm proud of you. I'm so proud of you. Again, here's this beautiful solar energy in the background. You know, and the sun, where it's placed in our astrological chart, or just, you know, in terms of archetypes, the sun is all about like our spirit, what drives us, what lights us up, what brings us vitality, you know, how we express our true light in the world, our persona, the beauty of who we are, what makes us beautiful, what makes us special and needed. She feels that you are harnessing all of that and really demonstrating through your own ingenuity, your own know-how, your risk-taking capabilities. You know, you're doing it. You're out here doing it. And despite the fact that there are many obstacles. So I would say this is mostly just like, I'm proud. She's saying, I'm proud. All right. And then finally, so forgive me. Let's see. Yes, she wants to be, which one is which? Forgive me. She wants you to forgive her for this. The Ten of Cups. You know, what I get from this, if you look at the card, and hopefully it's showing up, there's this happy family here, but in the background there's like destruction and chaos, and this family is just pretending as if it's not happening. So I think what she wants you to forgive her for is that there may have been situations like this where there was a feeling in the family of pretending. Let's just pretend that everything is great and happy, and not really look at the truth, because sometimes the truth wasn't so great. And it could be truths that were within the family. It could also be just truths out in the world that were separate from the family. Maybe she feels that she needs to apologize that she didn't, I don't know, talk to you about issues that were more world issues or something like that. I don't know why I'm getting that, but that may not be for everyone watching. But in any case, there was a little bit of, let's just gloss things over. You know, let's just pretend things are great, when in fact things weren't always great. And the truth was not always spoken in favor of maybe sort of living a little bit of a facade. So she wants you to forgive her for that, or she would hope that you would. And this is what she forgives you for. She forgives you for being a child. Page of Cups. You know, maybe there were moments when she got upset with you or something, and now she can see clearly you were just a child. You know, children only have a certain capacity. They're developmentally, you know, they're at a certain level. They can only do certain things or understand certain things based on where they are in their development. I mean, literally, of course, this is a zombie deck, but he's carrying a bucket of brains. Like, children's brains, you know, they're just not capable of certain things. And so she forgives you. She's basically saying there's nothing to forgive you for. There may have been some grievances that I had with you, but you were just a child. I forgive you for just being who you are and having the capacity that you had. I forgive you for having the needs that a child has. And that's all that you were asking for. You had the understanding of a child. You had the needs of a child, whatever it is. She forgives you simply for being who you were, a child. Any final thoughts from grandmother? I mean, she wants to say, I love you. Again, the high priestess, she feels very psychically connected to you. I think that she does herself, if this is a grandmother that's crossed over, but even a grandmother here still who's alive can still send messages and from her higher self. And either way, there's a psychic connection here. And this is just this is just coming up again from earlier, like there are psychic abilities in the family line, and she feels very proud of you for really harnessing those and developing those. And she's so proud of you for trusting your intuition and for recognizing when she does reach out to you to give you signs and messages. She's always sending her love. And when she sends you her love in those signs and symbols, whatever it is that you see that reminds you of her, that makes you know that she's with you, she's so happy that you know to understand that, because it's really the best way that she currently has. For those of you who've crossed over, who your grandmother has crossed over, it's the best way that she has to show that to you, to show you that her loving presence is still with you, even if she's not. All right, so everyone who chose pile 1, the devil card, your saucy grandmother, she is so proud of you and she loves you so much. So I really hope that this was helpful and healing. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye. All right, welcome to everybody who chose the second reading, which was the Strength card. If you chose the Strength card, the first question we're going to be looking at is what your grandmother knows to be true about you. So this is what she knows to be true about you, the viewer, and what she wants to express. We have the Page of Wands and the 5 of Wands. She knows that you are a bit of a mischievous little troublemaker. She knows that you have strong opinions and you are not afraid to express them. She knows that you are someone who's always standing up for yourself. I feel like she kind of appreciates that. I feel like a little bit of a humor, like I'm looking at this Strength card, this is your grandmother and this is how she sees you. She's like, yep, that's my grandchild. That's look at them out there just doing their thing. They're always going to stand up for themselves and speak their mind. So I feel it's coming through with an appreciation. We have the Lovers card as well. I just have like a stack of various cards that I'm pulling from. Okay, so she also knows, I feel like she views you, she knows that you are a very romantic person, that romantic love is very important to you. I am getting of course, the Strength card is Leo energy. Whether you're a Leo or not, there is, Leos are very over the top in the way that they express their romantic feelings. It's, they like all of the sort of the glamour and stuff like that when it comes to love. I feel like she's saying you're in love with love. And we have Rod Palmer, Simply Irresistible. Now, this might feel a little bit strange for your grandma to be talking about, but I think basically she knows. I'll hold this up if you want to read the lyrics. She feels like you are someone who just is in love with love, and you are a very, I'm kind of getting like a Madonna vibes, and I'm pretty sure Madonna is a Leo. So it's just like, you're just not afraid to get out here and shine. And you are someone who's attractive to a lot of people, and you draw a lot of attention romantically. All right, Grandma, why you want to talk about that? 6 of Pentacles. She feels like maybe there's a little bit of a similarity between the two of you. She's like, oh yeah, I see you out there with that, what would be the word for it? I don't know, but she's like, I feel like she can see a little bit of herself in you, and maybe this is a part of her life that you didn't know about. Who knows? But she's like, yeah, you're just like me. You speak your mind. Everybody loves you. And then the 10 of Wands. She's also saying there is a certain burden in this, though. You know, like you might be in love with love, and you might attract a lot of people who find you very irresistible. But there is a certain burden in that. Sometimes it can be overwhelming, maybe, to try to, I don't know, what is it that's difficult about that? Yeah, because you care about people, but at the same time, obviously, you can't be everybody's number one. You know, you're a wonderful partner to have, and you care about people. Maybe it's just the burden of kind of having to let people down, having to reject someone, but to do it with, you know, a big heart, because you are someone who has a big heart. But in any case, Grandma is recognizing all of this. So that was interesting. All right, so what does Grandma know to be true about your family line? Excited. You are a very, I would say, like outgoing, or even the people in the family, because not everyone in the family is going to be an extrovert, but like everyone is like sort of like excited. Like you have, I feel like, strong personalities. This is a family line with a lot of strong personalities that just love to express themselves. Maybe lots of huggers, I'm getting, like people who love to hug. We also get the Temperance card. I feel like this is a family line of people who do have strong opinions as well. That's coming through. Like that's something that has been inherited through the family line. People have strong beliefs in this family, and they do very much like to express them. The Fool. Sometimes foolishly. She is acknowledging, you know, this is a family where people are like very open to express themselves. Maybe that was encouraged within the family, but there is a bit of a recognition here that sometimes, you know, people in our family have a tendency to maybe recklessly express themselves, or just come on a little bit too strong with this type of like very over-the-top energy. Yes, the Justice card. But it's like, she's like, you know what? We're always right. I mean, we might as well say it. We're always right. So why not? You know, this is who we are. Oh my goodness. And then we have Pachamama, she with the Andean emerald heart. Yeah, I think she's encouraging you to keep doing that, because she's saying, like, I feel called to this beautiful emerald hummingbird here. It's like, she's like, you know what? Don't stop being who you are, and don't stop expressing yourself. You know, you can always fine tune it a little bit so that it can be better received. And of course, with the Justice card, it's important to understand the other side and to be diplomatic and not to be rude. But don't stop expressing your truth. That's something that's very beautiful about our family line, is that we are the type of people who do this. And there are a lot of people in the world who don't know how to do that. And she's like, you know, we figured it out. So we might need to, like, you know, fine tune it a little bit sometimes, but it is a skill and it is something to be proud of. And she's proud of you for carrying on with that ability. All right. So now we want to ask, what did you inherit from your grandmother? And what does she want you to know about her? What does she want you to know about her? Okay. This whole stack of different cards here. I'm just pulling whichever ones want to come out. All right, so what she feels you inherited from her. Two of Pentacles. I think she feels that you inherited a desire to have safety and security, especially financially, but maybe also difficulty in this area of life. So she also felt like she was someone who, you know, if some unexpected cost came up, she felt like she wasn't really prepared to handle those. You know, it may have been just getting by from week to week or month to month, or maybe for some of them even day to day. You know, I do feel like there was prosperity here. I'm seeing all this beautiful green energy. There was more prosperity and more abundance. And then she's wearing red, which is the color of the root chakra. There was more abundance here than it seemed, but at the same time, and I think that this is a family line where you both felt, you know, safe and abundant at times, especially there was a lot of strength coming from the family. It could be a family where people really took up for each other, you know, took care of each other. And that was a an abundance of wealth that you had, but in terms of the way that the world views wealth, it probably was a lot of kind of ups and downs or something. Let me ask a little bit more about that. So she recognizes that you may also struggle to like really kind of get ahead. You might be doing okay and you're keeping things balanced out, but you have a difficult time getting ahead. Yeah, Seven of Pentacles. So she's saying, just to continue to develop this, to continue to work with this area of your life. She feels that perhaps you might need to change some of your money mindset, do some manifestation where you just kind of change your mindset about money that may have been reinforced through the way that the family as a whole approached it, so that you don't always feel so like, I don't know if there's going to be enough money for the things that I need. I think she is hoping that you will shift this mindset, not just for yourself, but also for the coming generations, so that the coming generations will feel prosperity is here and prosperity is assured. All right. Okay, and what does she want you to understand about her that she feels you haven't understood already? The beauty way of the Navajo. I feel that your grandmother herself was very connected to your ancestors, for one thing, and to culture. Something about culture. Like maybe you did not know this about her, but culture was very important to her. Whatever your culture was, maybe she was even interested in different cultures. But like she had a sort of spirituality that maybe she didn't express openly very much, or you just didn't have as much of an awareness of this. Six of Swords. She also wants you to know that she was very protective of the family. Anyone who tried to say anything or do anything against the family, maybe especially the men in the family or her husband, but just in general, like she was very protective of the family. I think what she's saying is sometimes she feels like she was always in this energy of trying to protect the family from gossip or slander or just people who wanted to hurt anyone within the family, in such a way that it was hard to really progress. I feel like she wishes that she had a better ability to like really bring the family line forward or do more healing work. She felt like sometimes she just got stuck in the mentality of, I always need to stand up for my family members and protect them. And if anyone comes at my family, I'm going to come at them. But I feel like she's recognizing that maybe if she had spent less time perhaps in that energy and more time on the energy of helping to improve the family rather than just, I don't want people to be talking about the family, but I actually want to make our lives better. Yeah, and also like she feels that sometimes she got, and you knew that she was spiritual or religious, but I think she's acknowledging that sometimes she got off course. She got into like drama, perhaps, which with the energy of you all speaking your mind and having these kind of loud personalities, that makes sense. Like she feels that perhaps she got too involved in the drama, and that really took her away from her like spiritual core, like her place of stillness and connection to the divine. I feel like this is just something maybe she's recognized even more about herself since she's crossed over, and she just wants to express that to you. Okay. Now this next question is, why am I reaching out to you right now? Soul Cage. Rescue, escape from captivity and restriction. I think you all were the pile, where we talked about the love life. Okay, and because this is also a romantic card. Depth. Yeah. Okay. Resentful. Yes, she does want to talk again about like choices that people in this family tend to make in their romantic lives, where they choose a romantic partner and it turns out to be like a soul cage. It's like the soul is resentful. You know, she may have been resentful in her own marriage, or maybe she's just recognizing that this happens a lot in the family, that people get into marriages or relationships and they become resentful. But the reasons for choosing that person in the beginning were perhaps a little bit superficial. You know, because this card is about looking beneath the surface and really finding love beneath those superficialities. It says, as new people show up in my life, I look for all the weird, wonderful, complex layers below their surface. I can't be surprised by someone's depth of character unless I'm willing to peel back the outer layers and go a little deeper. It's like the brand new saying goes, don't judge an onion by its haircut. So anyway, I think she's just saying, like, in your own romantic choices, she would hope that you would be able to look past superficialities and really see the heart and soul of who a person is. And that's going to give you better experiences. All right. And for some of you, she's recognizing that you already have understood that, and she's just congratulating you. She's like, yes, you deserve so much better. I'm so glad that you're embracing that. All right, and so finally, she wants you to forgive her for this, and she forgives you for this. I have a whole bunch of cards. I'm just intuitively grabbing them. Okay, I feel like there's something more here. So she wants you to forgive her. You have 7th house partners. She did not make... We saw before something about defending, and I was like, maybe it's she defended her spouse. I don't know if that's the case at this point, because it does feel like maybe she's recognizing she may have made a bad choice in romantic partners. And, you know, she's not regretful of it because, you know, especially if she had children with that person, because that allowed you to exist. So she doesn't regret it in that sense. But I feel like she's saying, I regret the example I set to you in terms of you, how you would choose your own romantic partners. Like she's saying, I feel that perhaps I set you up a little bit to make wrong choices, to make choices of romantic partners that are based on superficial concerns rather than actual love and who's really the right match for you. So she's just asking forgiveness, but she loves you very much. She's so glad that you came into being, you know, even if her bad choices are what required it. She's so glad that you exist. But yeah, she's saying, and I feel like for you guys, she doesn't even necessarily feel that you are upset at her anyway, but she feels that she has done something wrong. And she just wants to tell you that that's how she feels. All right, and this is something that she forgives you for. 9 of Swords. She forgives you sometimes for being very preoccupied with your own anxieties and maybe not being able to be more optimistic. She forgives you for perhaps struggling with depression and anxiety. And I don't know if forgiveness is exactly the right word, because I don't think it's not like she was mad at you or anything about this, but I feel like she can see it more clearly now, why you had this personality. Some of you, maybe you slept a lot or you kept a lot to yourself, which it seems like maybe isn't typical of the family as a whole, and she always knew you had this fire in you, and it was maybe the fire in you, this vitality in you, was sort of suppressed by your struggles with, mental health, like I said, anxiety, depression, or something else like that. She forgives you. I think it's a better way of saying it is she understands you more now. Some of you also, like, you found a lot of solace in books, book learning, or maybe like drawing or doodling or reading books. Something involving books or paper. It's like you found some sort of solace maybe in those things, and maybe she didn't understand that. It just wasn't something she was interested in, maybe. Or you pursued higher education and it just wasn't something that she understood. Something like that. I mean, this is a general reading, so maybe not all of these things will hit home to you. But like, she wants you to know that she always loved you. Even if she ever criticized you for any of these things, she loved you. And the only reason she would have even said any of this is because she just felt like, why aren't you embracing life more? Why are you so doom or gloom? She wanted you to be happier. That's all that she ever wanted for you. What else? Yeah, she just wanted you to see all of your options, and she felt sometimes because of your own struggles with your inner world, your anxiety or depression or something, that maybe you didn't always see all of the options that were available to you. But she understands it now. She understands why you had so much anxiety and depression. Maybe she didn't understand it before. But gosh, she just wants you to be happy instead of in this place of anxiety. And for some of you, you've been able to bridge that gap and to get to this place of greater serenity. And she is so, so happy. I feel that your grandmother is around you a lot in spirit. For those of you who she's crossed over, and if she's still living, her heart is with you. She's thinking about you and caring about you so much all the time, and always just wanting you to be happy. She's very proud. All right, any final thoughts from your grandmother? She sees that you've walked away from certain things, and she's walking away with you. She supports you in whatever choice you had to make. You maybe have had to make a choice recently to walk away from something. She's walking with you. She's supporting you in this choice. I feel like it was probably a difficult choice to make. And she feels that this choice you've made is going to lead you to greater financial security, which was an issue that came up before. She feels you're going to have abundance, or that you are very much in the process of creating this legacy of abundance that it's going to be so good for the future generations and your family line. So she really appreciates that, and it is because of that she's walking forward with you in this choice that you've made to move on from some circumstance that no longer served you, and that your life is going to be so much brighter and prosperous, and she's so glad. All right. So I really hope that this was helpful, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye. All right. Welcome to everyone who chose the death card option, you soulful people. I love the energy of the death card myself. A lot of people get scared of it, but this is Scorpio energy, and to me, it's one of my favorite energies. So anyway, we're going to be asking a few different questions here. First of which is, what your grandmother knows to be true about you. So this is your grandmother saying, I know who you are. Let me tell you about it. So who does she feel that you are? The King of Swords. You're very intelligent. You're very decisive. You know what you want out of life, and you're not going to let anything stand in your way. You can definitely be someone who's a bit, comes across as a bit cold-hearted at times, but it's because you have a particular goal or plan for your life, and you are intent on achieving that. On the death card as well, she's holding a scythe, which is not exactly a sword, but it's like a similar type of tool, right? So I feel that she also may have been a woman with a very cutting intellect. She was not afraid to be very decisive herself. When she knew something to be the right choice, she would make that choice. And so she sees that in you as well. Oh my gosh, and the Queen of Swords. I feel like she views you as someone who's most likely going to want to end up in a relationship with someone who's similar in this way. Someone who is, maybe not as much of an emoter. Someone who maybe keeps their emotions under wraps. It doesn't mean you all don't have emotions, but someone who's a little bit more self-contained, but also like a similar intellect. She feels that you are going to be attracted to a partner, or that you already are, or she's saying this is the best type of person for you, as someone who has a very strong intellect to match your own. Maybe you are sapiosexuals, which is someone who's attracted to a person's intellect first and foremost. And then we have listen only to love. Okay, don't allow fear to distract you from your divine mission. Yeah, I think she recognizes, I think she was a bit less scared of her own emotions, because the Death card, again, that Scorpio energy, Scorpios are not afraid of their emotions. They're like full in their emotions. They might not be telling everybody about their emotions, but they're not afraid to like feel them. I think that she sees that sometimes you could be a bit more closed off from your emotions yourself. You prefer to be in a more of a mental space than in your heart space. And I think that she's viewing this maybe as a little bit of a detriment to you, that you are afraid of the passions of your heart, that you are afraid of the calling of your heart, and to the point that you may allow that fear to keep you from your divine mission. So she wants you to kind of like, be more in touch with that, be more in touch with your heart space. And then the Knight of Wands, because she feels like that's kind of like a source of vitality for you. You're going to learn so much, and it's going to bring so much more light into your life when you do that. And also it helps to align you with your life's purpose. You have a strong life purpose, and she feels that sometimes you run away from it because you think, well, that's not logical. That's not logically the best choice. But if your heart is leading you in a certain direction, listen to that. She's saying explore that. What is your heart drawn to? You need to go in that direction more often. It's great that you're so intelligent. That's wonderful. But that's not the only strategy. Your heart is also a guiding compass to you. So please pay attention to that. There's so much more to be explored there. You see how bright the colors are on this side of the table with these two cards? That's what she wants you to get in touch with. That's your sacral and solar plexus chakras. That's like what makes you feel alive and vital, as if living has a purpose. She wants you to feel more like this. Not that being alive is a chess game that we have to constantly be solving. There's nothing wrong with that. But like also when you're in your heart space, we're alive to be alive and to enjoy the experience of being alive. And you have to be in touch with your heart in order to really take advantage of that. All right, so that's what she's knowing to be true about you guys. All right, so what does she want you to know? What does she know to be true about your family line? Okay, what does she know to be true about your family line as a whole? Let's see. I have like a stack of cards from different decks here. She has a lot to say about the family line. Okay, the Tower. Okay, this is a family where you have experienced a lot of upheaval, a lot of chaos, a lot of endings, like sudden dramatic endings. There may have been like car accidents or other things where just things happened very suddenly and it created a lot of upheaval, instability. There's a lot of instability. Could be that violence even was experienced in this family line. Yeah, and then the Three of Swords, it's like it caused a lot of pain. There was a lot of pain that came from this upheaval and chaos that's been experienced. Now, she is saying that this is sort of, to some degree, all of this chaos has been a little bit of the source of you being able to conquer your life. It also might be a little bit why you run away from your heart space. You know, because your heart's been so broken. It's like it's done both. It's inspired you to get out there and make something big with your life, but at the expense of your actual heart, you know, because you don't want to feel the pain of all of this. There's a lot of pain related to these upheavals in the family line that you do need to pay attention to, because it hasn't been totally healed. And it's like, I feel like it's kind of like locking your heart up a little bit. It's like there's a tightening here. It could even literally, you know, cause issues with your physical well-being. You know, but she is recognizing also that it sort of inspired you to get out there and do something with yourself. It's very loud. I don't know if that picked up on the camera, but someone just drove by very loud with their engine. So I feel like that's kind of like with this King of Wands, like that's how it made you feel, like I really need to like do something with my life, you know, because maybe you felt that it would free you from this chaos that you had experienced, or it just revved you up somehow to be like, no, I need to do something. Okay, so we have lunar eclipse change. She feels, yeah, I mean, again, that this has been a family line where there's been a lot of change throughout the generations. Not every generation of this family has been the same. It's the family line has changed throughout each generation. There are maybe some things that have happened in your family's history that make you feel shameful, unworthy, disgraced, humiliated. Maybe sometimes you were even unfairly punished. And there could be some changes that need to be made in your heart. There needs to be healing about this. I think that there's some sort of lingering sense of shame about these moments of chaos and upheaval, unexpected tragedies, unexpected pain, or erratic behavior. Erratic experiences. It's made you a little bit uncertain at times about which path to choose in your life. And so this kind of ties into what she was saying earlier about you have to get more in touch with your heart space, and to heal that heart space, and also to listen to the intuitive nudges of the heart space. You won't feel so confused if you do that. And also, you'll be making these choices from a place of a healed heart rather than a broken heart. All right. All right, number 3. This is what she feels you inherited from her, and also what she wants you to understand about her that maybe she feels you don't currently understand. Or that maybe it was something that was never very obvious about her, or something like that. Okay, we have shy. So this is something, what did I say? Oh, what she feels you inherited from her. Yeah, maybe you're sort of shy, timid, hesitant, reserved. She's like, all right, I can see that. And you got that from me. I was also a bit like that. I didn't always go after what I wanted in life either. You know, it's like a mixed energy with you guys, because sometimes it's like you're very revved up and you definitely go after what you want. But I think when it has to do with something more emotional, there's a little bit more of a being shut down. And then this says true love. This is a destined connection, twin flame, or soulmate. So that could be, like I said, particularly an area of your life where you feel shy, and maybe it's something that it's what you inherited from her. She also was maybe shy when it came to love. All right, so what does she want you to understand more about her? Trust, resilience, the Hermit. Okay, let's start with this. It says, Sticks and stones may break my bones, and unkind words can somehow drain every bit of joy and color from my once rosy life. But nothing can ever permanently damage the real me. I love myself, I cherish myself, and I vow to remember that I'm always camped out in the depths of myself, even when I don't feel like very much of myself. And then paired with the Hermit, like, yeah, your grandmother, she was very self-aware. I think to the point where she really trusted her self-awareness. Yeah, she could be shy in certain moments, but like, she knew who she was. She had an incredible self-awareness. She absolutely knew who she was. She trusted herself. Let me see. Yeah, she feels... Yeah, she trusted herself enough in life to follow... She wasn't afraid to make unexpected choices, or maybe even world travel. Something about world travel. Maybe she wanted to travel more and she didn't, and she wants you to know that. Or I think there are a few things here, like well, she was very self-aware. She trusted herself. She may have been more comfortable in her own energy than she was in the company of other people. And you may have felt like maybe you misunderstood her choices about that, or like what her reasons were. But she's just saying it's because she knew who she was. I feel like she didn't want maybe the influence of other people, or when she was around other people in a social setting, she felt like she lost touch with her truth. Yeah, she felt more like she really knew who she really was when she was on her own. And when she was around other people, maybe she had a tendency to be a people pleaser, or to kind of try to get along with the crowd. She's like, really, I was most myself when I was alone, and maybe even her happiest when she was alone. I think maybe for some of you, she sees you as being more of a world explorer than she was. Or maybe you explore social situations more readily than she did. Yeah. She was more reclusive than you. And she just feels that, you each have your own approach to life. And I guess she just wants you to understand why she chose to maybe be more reclusive or isolated, whereas you are maybe more social, or just more of a world explorer. So, yeah, I think that's all that it is. She just wants you to understand where she's coming from and why she was like that. That there was not anything wrong with being like that. It was just... that's what allowed her to be more like true to herself. So it's interesting that she sees you as being more social, and yet still she feels that you inherited a sort of shyness. But I feel, again, like the shyness might be not in all social situations, but maybe when it comes to like following your heart regarding romantic love or any area of your life, right? You're very, very much more of like a logical, strategic person. And, all right. Okay, so why is she reaching out to you right now? Why is grandmother reaching out to you right now? Okay. Oh. Relieved. Reassured, soothed, at ease. She feels like you often were the person who reassured her and made her feel soothed and at ease. You were such a comfort to her, and I feel like she wants to give you a sense of that yourself. She feels that perhaps you're in the need you're in need of that right now. Just a bit of reassurance and comfort. Queen of Coins. Yeah, she just wants you to know that you can rely upon her, that she's someone you can depend upon. She's always going to be there for you. We have, again, these moon cycles or moon phases here on this, just like we did in one of the other cards about how she sees your family line. She sees that you're going through a lot of changes right now. There's something that's coming to fruition in your life, but it's required a lot of change. And so she wants to reassure you that everything will be okay and that you're strong enough for these changes that you are experiencing. Yeah, she feels that you are very strong, that you shall endure. There will be many more changes, but she wants to reassure you that these changes are bringing you ultimately into a better place. And I think that she feels in particular these changes are aligning you with the romantic partner that is meant for you. And, that although you may prefer to shut off your heart or the leanings of your heart, or that you could be shy in this area of your life, she's there to support you through these changes and to understand these changes will align you with that person that is the one for you. So follow your heart. Your heart is already telling you who that is. So keep following that. There may be some more changes or surprises along the way, but you are being led in the correct direction. So she wants to reassure you that all shall be well. All right. And then finally, she wants to say, forgive me for this, and I forgive you for that. So your grandmother wants you to forgive her for compliments. Okay, I know how good it feels to get a compliment, so I give that gift to others. I'll find a nice compliment for everyone I interact with today, even if I have to think really hard about it, in which case I can follow up by complimenting myself for solving such a compliment puzzle. Wow, I'm skilled. It could be either, maybe she feels that she didn't compliment you enough, she didn't build you up enough, or for some of you, maybe she realizes now that she complimented you too much in a way that, because that can cause problems for people too, if they're always made to feel like, oh, you're a special snowflake, it can sometimes inhibit people. So I think this is going to be different for everybody. Resistant, rebellious, defensive, closed. In any case, whether she complimented you too much or was always pointing out your nice qualities, or whether she was not doing it enough, she does feel like it has sort of inhibited you in some way. And so she's apologizing for that. She wants you to... some of you have a hard time accepting compliments because of whatever this experience was. And so she feels like in some ways she's been a little bit of the source of you being closed off from your emotions. And what does she forgive of you? Fulfilled. She forgives you, and this isn't really forgiveness, but she wants you to know that you have become a much more self-actualized person. You've realized your destiny and your fate in a way that is perhaps more than her. You've gotten above your raising is one of the phrases we would use for this where I come from. And so she wants you to know that she's very proud of you for that. So there's nothing to forgive. If you ever feel that way, well, I've gotten, I've done better than, my grandmother or something like that. She views this as absolutely as a positive. So there's nothing to forgive you for. It's more, she wants to make sure that you are viewing this as positively as she does. She feels so happy that you have become so realized. You are realizing your dreams, and she feels if you can become more in touch with your heart space, it's the whole universe. You've already done so much, and the universe is just going to burst open for you if you can also, in addition to this, become more in touch with your heart space. So you are shining, and she sees it, and she is so happy. She is so happy for you. All right, any final thoughts from your grandmother? Any final thoughts? She's expecting some pushback from you about some of the things that she said here today. She expects that you think you know better for your life than she does. So she's recognizing that you're probably not going to listen to me anyway about some of these things. My hands are tied. I've done my best. But she's still saying, like, ultimately I see you living a happy and prosperous life. So it doesn't matter. You're not necessarily going to take all of my advice. And that's just how it is. But I gave it anyway, and I gave it with love. And I hope that you understand what a blessing you are to our family line, she says. And I just wish you the best. I hope for you to have hope and optimism for your future. I see a very beautiful, bright, happy, safe, and secure, loving future. She definitely sees you having a fulfilled life with your true love. All right. So even if you don't take her advice, you're going in that direction either way. All right. So that's the message from your grandmother. I really hope that you enjoyed this reading. Finally, she says, I love you. I love you. I love you. And I wish you guys all the best. Thank you for watching. I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Welcome to everyone who chose the fourth option, which is the Emperor card. So we're going to be asking a few questions, getting a few different bits of guidance from your grandmother, messages from her. First, she wants to tell you what she knows to be true about you, the viewer. And in other words, this is how she sees you. And she wants you to know how she sees you. I have just this stack of various different cards from different decks here, just randomly pulling from. Okay. Wow, she's a lot. That's the most cards that have wanted to come out for this particular question. Okay, she has a lot to say. She's got a lot to say about you. Okay, where shall we start? Okay, we have the crown chakra, meditation and silence. I'll let you pause and read this if you want. But, I mean, it's just, she might see you meditating. Maybe she just wants to know that she knows that you are someone who's very in tune. And, in fact, the chakra cards have not come out for any readings except for this one. So she might view you as someone who is really engaged in working with your chakras, with your energy meridians, meditating, just being a very spiritual person. We also get the fifth chakra, the throat chakra, connect with spirit. Yes, I develop a quiet mind that allows me to tune in and get in touch with my higher self or my spirit. I listen for the guidance that is there waiting for me to hear. So she knows you're the type of person who does this. You allow yourself to get still and you listen. You're very in tune to your spiritual guidance. Okay, so we have the Page of Wands. She views you as a, sort of an explorer in life. You've had a lot of different life's experiences, and maybe you've made some choices that other people would be like, why are you making that choice? Or that seems like... I don't know, like, just why are you choosing that? It doesn't really seem like you're making your choices based on maybe the same types of motivations that other people are. Perhaps you're not motivated by the same things, but it's like your grandmother is saying you follow your heart, you follow your destiny, and you are very in touch with your destiny, or and the experiences you've had in life, you needed to have those, even though they may have seemed to other people like strange choices. You followed the direction of your spirit guides, and it's led you to some wonderful opportunities and experiences, and experiences that you need in order to continue to fulfill your full destiny. I'm also wanting to say your full prophecy. So I feel that you are like living out some sort of prophecy, or there's something that is just, it's in the stars. There's just something in the stars for you that is meant to be fulfilled in this particular lifetime. Sorceress of light. Yes, you are very in tune with your inner light, and you allow yourself, you just follow your wisdom. You're very wise. Again, you make surprising choices sometimes, I feel, but these are choices ultimately that are leading you in the correct direction. Let's see here. Ooh, Knight of Coins. Wow, that green energy is like, it's like radioactive in a good way. I don't know how much it shows up on camera, but it's like a very intense green. More green energy. Yeah, I feel like she, I think she views you as someone, maybe you've done a lot of different, had a lot of different occupations. You've done a lot of different types of jobs or work. We have curious, interested, fascinated, inquisitive. And like all these jobs that you had, they may not have earned you a lot materially speaking. I kind of got that feeling with the Page of Wands as well, because she's got like a hobo stick over her shoulder. So it's like you made choices that didn't necessarily lead you to a lot of money, but it's like over time you've accumulated this wisdom. It was more about experience to you than it was about the motivation of money. Yeah, in fact, some of you are just very much not motivated at all by the normal things in life that we're told to be motivated by, which is interesting because your card here is the Emperor card as well. It's like, I feel like you guys are building some sort of empire, that it's based on your own particular value system. So you're very curious about how the world works, because you do want to build some sort of sense of empire, but it's a very different approach to it. You have a very different outlook than most people. And then we have Halsey's Graveyard. It's crazy when the thing you love the most is the detriment. Let that sink in. You've been down some dark roads in life, sometimes to the point of your detriment, but it's also like it was meant to be. Like you had to have these experiences, sort of, for the reasons that we said here. Like your soul was so curious about certain things, about how the world works. Some of you may be star seeds as well, and so your soul is just genuinely like, well, what is Earth life all about? Let me understand how this place works down here. So you wanted to experience lots of different things about what Earth life is all about. Get the Two of Wands, the Ten of Cups, Concomancy. I do just feel like you have a destiny, and this destiny, as you are fulfilling it, is leading you towards, for some of you, definitely a soulmate, or someone who you have a shared destiny with someone. You're drawn to each other naturally. Depending on who's watching, maybe you've met this person or maybe you haven't, but you're being led in the direction of this, and the Ten of Cups is about a happy family life. And then this card is about divination. So yeah, again, you're just very in touch with your guidance. The, what is this called? Starfish. Starfish are symbolic as well as kind of like just kind of trusting and feeling our way through life. It's much less about logic and more about just like kind of like feeling out, okay, what's the next step? What's the next step to take? And you're someone who does that in your life. You're very in tune with this sort of higher knowing. And it definitely is leading you, although you've been through some detrimental moments in your life, you're ultimately being led to great joy and happiness. Okay, so this is what your grandmother knows about you. She knows a lot. She knows all about you. All right, second question is, what does your grandmother know to be true about your family line? I don't know if I already said this, but I just have this stack of cards from different decks. So I'm just like pulling from them as I feel. Okay, what does she know to be true about your family line? This came up in one of the other readings as well. Okay, Two of Pentacles and Two of Cups. Okay, but I think it's a little different in combination with this card. I think your grandmother knows that in this family line, there has been a lot of struggle, maybe, when it comes to relationships or like finding the right person. It's been a common theme in the family, maybe. The unseen. Too much is hidden from you. Yeah. There are also a lot of family secrets. This is a family where there's a lot of secrets that are being kept. And some of those secrets might have to do with particular relationships, like particular marriages, or just interactions between two individuals where things were happening that were unseen. I think your grandmother recognizes that you're learning about some of these things, or your intuition is telling you about some of these things that have been kept secret. It may be a bit of a struggle for you to understand these things that happened that were kept secret, something like that. But there are definitely secrets in this family. But she also feels that this is a family where there is a lot of love. There's a lot of matriarchal energy. And sometimes it seems in this family that the matriarchs of this family are very, they're very giving, I think, to the patriarchs of the family. And maybe that's why the Emperor card came up. It's like there's this sort of reverence, or it might be a family where the women are meant to serve the men. And maybe in some cases they might, maybe to their own detriment, where the women are kind of giving up maybe a little bit of their own dreams in order to just do right by the men. And obviously not everyone is involved in a heterosexual relationship, but that's what, I'm sure that there are heterosexual relationships within your family. But in any case, I hope you're understanding what I mean. Like, women in the family are often like over-giving to the men in the family, I feel. And we have writers group. It says create or join a writers group to gain inspiration, friendship, and support. I'm getting a couple of things. It could be there's a lot of Aquarian energy in your family, because Aquarius and the 11th house, they're all about being involved in groups, finding people who are of a like mind, who you share an interest with, where it's being involved with that group of people is just very interesting. Lots of group orientedness. Now, a lot of times we think of Aquarius as being kind of revolutionary or going against the grain, but this could even be people who are very involved in their Bible study or the Parent-Teacher Association. Some people really like to get out and be involved in the community, in organizations and things, and some people just don't feel that calling. I think that this is a family where people are more drawn to that. But also, this could be a family where there is actually like a legacy of people being excellent writers, having really strong writing skills. And then we have the 11th house. Well, we already talked about that. Yeah, you all are drawn to groups. You're a very group-oriented type of family, a family that likes to be involved in groups and organizations. Now, that doesn't mean everybody in the family wants to be involved in the same groups. Someone might want to be involved in like a women's charity group. Someone else might want to be involved in an anarchist group. Like there could be differences in the types of groups that the family members are involved in, which in and of itself is very Aquarian, because Aquarian and 11th house energy recognizes that there's so much diversity in the world. We're all like different people, but we have some commonalities as well that make us human. There are things that we share in common despite our differences. So this seems to be a family line where there's some sort of strong recognition of that there's a lot of diversity in the world, but also a desire to group together with people who we do have a like mind with, and a shared purpose with. Okay, so that's what she's knowing about your family line. Next, what did you inherit from your grandmother? She wants to talk about something you inherited from her, and then also something she wants you to know. Something she wants you to know about her that maybe you didn't quite understand. It happens a lot in my group 4 readings. The battery goes out on my light. Hold on just a moment. I'll put in a new one. Okay. I need to start remembering to change that between reading 3 and reading 4. Okay. All right. So what does she feel that you inherited from her? The King of Wands, the 7 of Cups, Maroon 5 memories. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you guys are very memory-oriented people, very sentimental. You think back to all the people in your life, and there's just this, like, you really love to have those memories of all the people who have touched your heart, and vice versa. She feels that you inherited a certain kind of confidence from her, that you're a very confident person, whether you are, regardless of your own gender. She feels you inherited from her like an ability to really tap into masculine energy. That could be also why the Emperor card is coming up. Even though the women in the family were kind of expected to like be of service to the men in a way, there's still like this kind of strong determination from the women as well. And she feels like you share this. You're someone who is sort of an explorer, and you're unafraid to explore different things in life. Maybe go different places, travel different places. Look at all your options. With the 7 of Cups, yeah, she feels that you're also someone who wants to keep your options open, or she feels that you've inherited that from her. You do cherish all the people who've touched your life, but you also maybe recognize that your choices may not always be the same as the choices of these other people. That doesn't make these people less dear and near and dear to you, but your choices may be different from theirs. And you, just like your grandmother, are not afraid to choose differently from, the rest of the people you know. Yeah, you just have to kind of go your own way in life. And it's like, to some extent, you don't even think of it that way. You don't even necessarily always recognize how different you are from the rest of the pack. But there's something about the choices that you make that it causes other people in your life to question themselves, whether you realize that you're not or not. And that's something that your grandmother feels that both of you did in your lives. She chose to live her life the way that she chose it. And people really looked in the mirror because of it. They're like, whoa, she's choosing to do that. Okay, that's unexpected. That's different from everybody else. Wow, maybe I need to reconsider if I'm making the right choices for myself, or if I'm being true to myself. So you all share these qualities. Okay, so here's something that she feels she wants you to understand more about her. 5 of Cups. I feel that for those of you who your grandmother has passed on, she was ready to go, I feel. And she knows that you have visited her grave, or, not everyone is buried in a grave, but you've visited her. Maybe there's a memorial to her, or you have an urn. In any case, she feels that you connect to her in some way, that you do call upon her, you reach out to her. Sometimes you even cry still, maybe, about her. So she's aware of that. So she wants you to know that she's happy. She was ready to go, and she's happy on the other side. And although she recognizes that sometimes you're sad without her, she's still happy where she is. She's not happy that you're sad. She knows that this is an experience you have to have in your own healing process. But she is happy on the other side. She's satisfied with that she has crossed over. She's okay with it. Yeah, she does know that you have a grief. It could be, you miss her. She knows that you miss her a lot. Sometimes she feels like that you may... anger is one of the stages of grief. Not everyone experiences the same stages of grief or experiences them in the same order, but she is aware that you miss her very much, and there are moments even when you might be sort of angry that she did leave you. She doesn't want to hurt your feelings. She didn't want to hurt your feelings by leaving. She didn't do it to hurt you. It was her time to cross over. And she doesn't want to hurt your feelings now by letting you know that she was glad to go or that she's happy. She's saying this with love. I was glad to go. I left you because it was my time and I was glad to cross over, and I left you with love, but it was my soul's choice to leave. For some of you, she may have left there may have been something at the end of her life or the way that she crossed over that caused conflict in the family as well. And she's saying, I had to leave that. That was something that I left behind for the family to resolve without me. And again, I'm saying this with love. I'm glad to have left. I wanted to leave. I knew that it was best for me. It was time for me. And I knew that you and the rest of the family would be able to hold it down without me. I knew that you would be okay without me. And so I was so happy to leave, partly because I knew your strength, that you would be strong enough. And in fact, you have been strong enough. And I do still visit you from time to time. And I'm so happy to be able to reunite with you in a more spiritual sense from time to time. I try to be there still. But you're living your life still on the earth plane, and I'm like this river. I'm passing by in the background. I'm always there in the background, but I'm doing my own thing, and I'm happy with that. I'm working on things that are very important to my own soul's growth. On the other side, I'm engaged in some very important soul development work of my own And I'm really doing very well. I'm really making a lot of progress. I'm doing important things. There are people who are very proud of me, and my soul just wanted to get back to that work, the work that it was doing in the astral realm. I love you, and I know that you love me, and I know that you understand this complexity of who I am. You know, I know that you understand this because we're the same way. When you leave, it will be the same. People won't be ready for it, but you will have to do so. And she's saying, I think that you understand a lot of this already, but sometimes it can make things more clear just if we voice it out loud. And so I'm glad to have had this opportunity to speak these truths to you. All right, so the last question here, or the last message, is going to be... oh, wait, no, we're not even near to the end. That was just so heavy that I'm like, I guess I'm ready for it to be done. Not in a bad way. I'm like your grandmother. I'm like, I'm ready to go now. Not to leave the world, but I'm ready to go from this reading. Sorry. Okay, so number 4. Okay, so why is your grandmother reaching out to you right now? Why is she reaching out? The Wheel of Fortune. She knows that the hands of destiny are turning. There's some sort of destiny, which we sort of picked up on before for you guys, that's being fulfilled. And yeah, I do feel like she thinks it has to do with connecting with a soulmate. So we already kind of heard that, a little bit of that. She's happy. She just wants to let you know she's so happy. Your life is unfolding. Your destiny is unfolding just as it is meant to. And she's so happy. She's happy to see this bringing you into a greater place of happiness as well. So that's all. She just wants to say, I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for these wonderful circumstances. All right. And then the last question is, she wants you to forgive her for this, and she forgives you for this. Let's see. Okay, she wants you to forgive her for the Tower. Maybe for some of you, she left suddenly. You know, and some of you, this, like I said at the beginning, this could be a grandmother. If you've lost a great-grandmother or someone else who was like a maternal figure, your mother, because I feel like this reading is speaking to me, and I think some of this is for me, is about my mother. She's sorry that she left so suddenly. And if that's not how it happened, she's sorry for the impact of her leaving, or she wants you to, again, she doesn't necessarily feel that she needs to be forgiven, but she hopes you can have a greater understanding, like from a place of love, which is kind of what forgiveness is. It's understanding someone from a place of love, that this is just what had to happen. And she's just sorry for all of the difficult and the tumultuous experiences that you had in your life as a whole. Again, it's not like she's like feels that she needs to be forgiven per se, but she wants to recognize that her passing was difficult for you, and she hopes you can have an understanding of that. She doesn't want it to be painful. I need you more than I show. She knows that you needed her, and although you're very strong and you're doing fine without her, she just recognizes that there are times when you really genuinely wish that she was still here. So she's knowing that, and she knows that it was devastating and it was difficult to lose her. But she wants you to be at peace with it and understand the cycles of change, the cycles of time, that this was not meant to hurt you. It didn't happen for that purpose. She didn't leave the earth for that purpose. But it did cause a lot of pain for you. And she hopes that you can and will find greater peace with that. If you have found greater peace, she is so glad. She is so glad. All right, and this is what she forgives you for. The Emperor coming up again. Queen of Swords. What does she forgive you for? Maybe you were someone who defended a man in the family, and it was either her spouse or someone else, a man who she had a lot of antagonism against. Maybe she felt like you took his side or something. Or when she was in her earthly life, she may have felt like that. Or maybe there were things that you didn't know about a particular man in your family. Again, I think this was the pile where we picked up there were secrets in the family. So there were things you didn't know about, secrets in the family you didn't know about. It's like she forgives you for any choices that you made, either because you were standing up for a man in the family that she had a problem with, and maybe she sees it differently from the other side, or like I said, you just didn't know about certain things, and maybe that's why you stood up for this man. Yeah, she may feel that even if it didn't come from her, there could be someone or multiple people within the family who take issue with you because you stood up for a man in the family because you didn't know the whole story. Or maybe you're the one who stood up to a man in the family. And in either case, she understands your choices. She's understanding the choices that you had to make. You were standing up for someone else because you didn't know this whole story, or you were standing up for yourself. And either way, she's like coming through with this greater understanding. I'm trying to open it up a little bit because I know that there are a lot of people watching and it's not going to be exactly the same for everybody. Yeah, she really respects your choices. Your choices were made from a very wholesome place. Your actions within the family were and are made from this very wholesome place. This place of just desiring peace within yourself and peace for the family as a whole. She sees that very clearly. So she wants you to know that. She understands your choices. All right, anything finally that your grandmother wants to say to you? She feels like you get really flustered sometimes. You've got a lot going on sometimes. You're trying to do a lot. You get really flustered sometimes. And but she feels like you're so strong. You're much stronger even than what you recognize that you are. And she's so proud of you. The more limitations that you break, the more you break loose from your perceived limitations and really realize this strength. Both of the eights, the 8 card is the strength card in the major arcana as well. She feels that you're so strong and she's so proud of you. And here again, the Wheel of Fortune coming out again. She feels that you are really embracing your destiny. You're fulfilling your destiny. And the more that you let go of any sort of limiting beliefs, some of these limiting beliefs may have been passed down through the family line, or it's just something that you've picked up along the way, or both. She's like, the more you let go of those, the stronger and stronger and stronger you become. And you have a very important destiny to fulfill. So she's just so proud of you. And she feels like you have, you're someone who uncovers secrets. Wow. And uncovering those secrets is helpful of these limiting perspectives, or it helps you to open doors for yourself. You're brave enough to be able to look at those secrets and not be scared of them. Where other people would, you can withstand a lot. You're able to withstand a whole lot. And yeah, I think she's even saying, like, you know what? You're able to deal with a lot of these issues way more even than I was able to in my own life. And so she's just very, very much admiring your strength here. And of course, finally, she would like to say, I love you so much. I love you. All right, so guys, I really hope that this was helpful and healing. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.